Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a good day today. I'm going to share with you my small account experience today. I wish I had um, my first trade recorded. Yesterday, I had a big mishap. Instead of hitting record, I hit start streaming, and my account was streamed live on Ticker TV most of the day. So I didn't get anything recorded, but it was streamed live on Ticker TV. So this morning I took all that stuff off, and evidently I didn't have a file path set up. So it did the first trade and the first fiasco, which is really would have been educational, because if it happened to me, it can happen to anybody, and it may have happened to other people in the past. But I wish I had recorded it so you could have seen how I handled it. But it didn't. But I did get the last trade I took recorded. It wasn't that good of a trade, but we did work it the way it needed to be worked, and I made the right decisions. So I'm going to share that with you too in a minute. But let me tell you what happened. I was looking at EXAS. It was on my watch. I was looking at it for the open range breakout, which was, this is where it opened. Then we got this candle here open, and then this candle, and I was waiting for it to break over this. And while I was waiting, I did something that I shouldn't do. I'm watching chat. Everybody's talking about grub. So I pull up grub, and it looks like it's getting ready to run into a level of resistance. So it looks like it may be right, for a quick reversal. So I'm going to pull it up. I'm starting to pull it up here so I can see whether, we've got, if it's shortable, and then right here if it's on short sell restriction. Well, I type in GRU, but I couldn't get the B on there. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get the B up there. It was driving me insane as to why it wouldn't come up. So I changed it to EXAS, and then I hit Shift B to put an uppercase B up there. Well, Shift B is a hotkey, and it's buy on the ask using 90% of my buying power. So it actually bought EXAS a little bit before I wanted to buy it. I wanted to get it, but I was waiting for it to hit a certain price. But it was only 2 cents off, but it did buy it. I didn't even know. At the time, I wasn't even looking up here. I was looking at this mess that was going on here. And then I went to X. And then X came up. And then I hit, uppercase B. It didn't show up on X. It bought on the ask, but I could only get 51 shares based on, most of my buying power got used up on EXAS. And then I went back and typed in GRU, and again B didn't come up. And I hit B twice on that one. And at that point, I just kept going B, 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 B. I was frustrated. Thank goodness I didn't have any more buying power left, because I probably would have kept buying that same stock. Let me show you what happened. Here is my hotkey right here. Shift B. 90% buy BP, buy 90% BP on ask plus 2 cents. So at the time, ask was at 1609, and that's where it bought it at. Now here's how the trades look. Okay, first one I bought at 945 EXAS 1609. 788 shares, that's how much I could have gotten with my 90% buying power. Okay, now that I know how good that button works, I'm going to use it. Now that I know how to use it. But I don't use hotkeys. I didn't like them because I was getting confused with it. But I like how this buy button works. So I did buy this, and that was at 9:45.30. Now at 9:46.03, it bought 51 shares of X at 25.13. And then when I switched trying to type in Grub again, it bought 34 shares of GRU because that's all the buying power I had left after these two trades because it's using 90%. Then the second time I hit it, it bought 4 shares because I had even less amount of money in it. So I spent $7 to buy 4 shares of a $4 stock, essentially. So this is what happened. But I didn't panic because I had a plan in place that if I ever got caught in a stock that I didn't want to be in, say if I accidentally got in a stock or got in the wrong ticker, that I knew how to handle it if I did. So obviously I've been in that situation before. So I knew exactly how to handle it. GRU I knew was a crap stock. And let me show you what I mean by that. GRU, there's no volume in it. There's nothing. Okay. On the volume today, 1,555 shares. Nothing. But it was an accident, so I got right out of that one. I only lost $1 and some change. We'll see that in a minute. So the next one I looked at was EXAS. That's the one that I had the most shares in. That's the one that I wanted to trade. So when I looked at it, this candle was printing. This candle opened at 9:45, I believe. But let me switch to this chart because this chart's easier to look at here. Alright, so this is where we were. This is the candle at 9:40. This is the candle at 9:45. I got in at 16:09, which is not long after that candle opened and started printing. And it was on the way up. So I got in there, and my goal was if I got in here, my first target was 1652. So this was a no-brainer trade. I already had my plan in place. So that was a winning trade. That was decent. I think I almost got 200 bucks on this one. But, this was a trade that I already had planned to take. So that was an easy fix. Okay, X. I was looking at X. I was only in 51 shares. So I got in on this candle here. So I was up, but I didn't have any size. So what I was thinking was, by now I was out of the other trade. I said if I got out the other trade, if I had enough buying power, I could actually buy on a pullback, add to my position, and then make some money off of it. But I didn't add. I should have added here, and I didn't. So once it got up and it pushed up over this level here, I went ahead and took it off because I had enough to make a couple of dollars and cover commission. So, that was a no big deal. So that was my morning. That's what I had to deal with. And you can see on that trade, on EXAS, I did make $197. I was still able to manage my trade to my plan, and that worked out great. GRU, I only lost $1.14 because I was only in 38 shares, and it lost like 3 cents. And then X, 22.95. Again, I was only in 51 shares, so the only thing I wanted to do was cover commissions and get out of it since I didn't add when I should have, and I took that off. Now the second EXAS trade was a short, and I do have that on tape. The setup was beautiful. It's just, unfortunately, and you can't predict this, the market makers got hold to this trade and kind of took it the other way. So we're going to look at that trade in a second, but you can see, realize today we did excellent. Had that one trade, and really, if I can start hitting that one trade first thing in the morning, and you do that by focusing on just one account. What was killing me and what was making me miss these other trades was I was trying to catch them in my other accounts too, so I could make that money and still do this. You can't do both. So like I said, I'm committed to this, and I'll only use that account if I have to, or if there's something setting up later in the day that I can't use this account for. So I am going to stay committed to this, and that's how I was able to catch that one trade this morning. And then you're going to look at the second trade I took on EXAS, and you can see right now I waited for the rollover. I didn't anticipate like I have been. I waited for the rollover, and then I put my order out at 17, because what I saw was a lot of orders going through at 17. So I just put my order out there, and I said once it chewed through all this 17, I would go ahead and get filled. So I got filled at 17.01. No, I did get filled. I got filled at 17. And the reason why I took the trade, you can see the 9 is curling over. We're making lower highs. And I waited for this candle to actually close below the 20 before I got in. So everything I did correctly. And if you were in chat, you saw this thing took forever. It took forever to move. It just did not want to resolve. And what was going on, and what I noticed was we had all of these orders going through at 17 and 17.01. The algos had this thing working the $17 mark. So whenever it came back to 17, you'd see a whole lot of prints going off. And so we're going to look at it. You see it's at 17 now, and 16.99, I mean between 16.99 and 17. I didn't think it was ever going to get let go. Now, I actually had tried to get in a little bit earlier, at 17.14, and it didn't fill. I was going to anticipate it, but then once I didn't get that fill, I came to my senses and I said, "Nah, I better wait. Based on what's happened to me the last couple weeks, I need to wait, make sure this thing clearly closes below this level and shows signs of fading." So I'm not going to keep it, too much longer before I fast forward it. But I wanted to show you, how long this thing held up and how, you just kept seeing all of these 100 share orders go through at 17. Now here we did have some commercial, retail traders like us, like this 136. But, here's one for 14. Somebody bought, it's probably part of another order. Here's another 36 shares. And those are retail traders. Those aren't, the algorithms or the electronic traders. And you'll see you'll see print after print after print. Look at all of those orders going through, and these numbers aren't even changing. The 16.99 wasn't even changing. So all of that's just hidden size. It's just size hidden from level 2. And at this point, I realize that the stock is being manipulated. And there's nothing I can do. Absolutely nothing I can do. I'm already in it, so I'm not going to dump it. There's still a possibility that it can come back and can give me, the move I wanted. So I'm going to skip forward 30 seconds. And you can see we're still in the same spot. All right, so now we're starting to get some resolve here. Starting to get some resolve, but we're down to 95, 94, 95, and we're still stuck. We're not going anywhere. And this trade was like watching paint dry. It wasn't doing anything. If you bump it up some more, look at the price action here. There's nothing to indicate anything is going on. Now look what it did. Now it's starting to push up. Higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high. So it's starting to look a little bullish. But I know in these cases, I've got the 9 and the 20 right here. The 9 has crossed under the 20. You can barely see it, but it has crossed under the 20. So that's going to give it some down pressure. The only other thing I'm looking at, and at first when I took the trade, this wasn't an issue to me. But later on, this is yesterday's close. But as this trade sat here and tried to consolidate, this level became more and more significant. So at this point, I changed my target from VWAP to where if I got within a couple cents of yesterday's close, I'm going to go ahead and take the trade off. Because you can see where we're at right now. I'm going to bump it up a little bit more. And you see, it still never pushed. It went up and tapped it, but it never pushed over it. And let's see, how long have we been in this trade? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. Going on 35 minutes that I'm still in this trade. And I'm just break even right now. Now I'm giving it all of this room, and I didn't take it, when it kind of gave us this move down here, because I am up on the day. I've got a little cushion, I've met my $200 goal for the day, and no need to take it off just yet. Yep. So if you don't want to see this is boring action. You can fast forward it. But the point of this is to show you how much patience you have to have. As long as you have the technicals working for you, then you can remain in this trade. Everything was based on the stock losing the 9 and the 20 moving average. So that's where our stop's going to be. It has to reclaim that level in order for this trade not to be viable. So right now we're just waiting, and I'm waiting for the fade. And like I said, feel free to fast forward it, because this was a boring trade, and I was pretty upset at this point because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it made some decent moves. Then all of a sudden, the algos got hold to it, and it just kind of traded in the same range. And usually, when they get hold to it, it will trade in that range for a while until they exhaust all of their positions. It's not going anywhere until they finish with it. And if it stays at that level all day, then that's where it's going to stay. But I don't understand why they would be interested in a stock like this. I don't know. But, I don't know a whole lot. I only focus on the information and the knowledge I need in order to get me in and out of trades. So what goes on behind the scenes, I don't really care about. And that is a problem that you can have starting out. You can gain too much knowledge. You can learn more than you need to learn, and it can hurt you in your profitability. There is a thing of being too smart for your own good, and it's easy to be that in trading. I've seen some people with charts. They had so many lines and studies on their chart, I couldn't even see the price action. So now you can see now we're back to break even. We were up $25. And, ordinarily, I might have clicked it. I would have checked it. I'd have made sure that I had enough to cover commissions, and I'd have just clicked it. It'd have just been a wash trade. But I'm sticking to my technical analysis. My technicals tell me that this stock still can fade. And that's exactly what I'm doing. All right, now we're getting to move down. Let's see if we're going to get the wash this time. So I'm looking for this around, I can't even remember what price it is, and I hate this because this doesn't have the price marked out. I think it's around 1653. Nope, that's not it. That's not 1653. Can't remember what price it is. 1682. That's where it's at. It's at 1682. So I'm trying to look for the. I'm trying to get the move down to around 1682. Get as close to it as I can. That's my target. You know, we have to make realistic targets. And at the right now, that's my realistic target. You know, this trade started out with VWAP being my target, and you know, right now 1680. This is going to be my target because I really don't think it's going to get any lower than this. You know, you see this consolidation. This is bad news if you're shorting. Anytime you're shorting and you see consolidation, it's bad news. The only good piece of news I had was it was still below these moving averages. And as long as it's below this moving average, there is a chance for me to get that quick wash where they will take out, you know, somebody who may have stop losses, who was long earlier, to run on back up. So, you know, at this point, I'm just tired of waiting. And this is where a lot of, you know, new traders, when they come in, you know, they're having issues with this. See, now we are getting close. I'm going to, you know, take some of the suspense out of it. We are getting kind of close. Getting kind of close here. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I mean, there we go. So all of a sudden, you're going to see this 95 and 96 level. I mean, look at all of this size going through on time and sales. You know, it stops, and then all of a sudden it picks up and it goes crazy. It stops, and then it picks up and it goes crazy. So I know these are machines working. Okay, look, now we break even. We're at break even again. So right now, I'm just waiting for all of this crap to get taken out. This is the bad thing about doing live trades. I guess I need to figure out how to fast, or either buy a software that allows you to fast forward, you know, so that I can fast forward through, you know, some of this downtime. But this thing will resolve quickly, and this is what I was looking for. I was waiting for this quick fade back down toward this level. That's all I wanted, because I knew at some point this was going to break. It was going to push over this. With all of this consolidation shows sign of strength. And all it was doing was gearing up and getting ready to pop these, you know, those two moving averages. So now we're getting to move down. We're taking out all of these. Here we go. We got it. So now I'm looking for anything within 5 cents, like 87, 86, 87. I'm going to take it out. So I'm waiting right now. It's at 86. And so I waited. I said, well, when it gets back to 86, I was going to take it out. And, that's what I did. So we ended up having a good day. And you're going to see, I'm going to show you on the end result here. EXAS, it did. See, this is all a consolidation. This was the break that I was looking for. It tried to push it, sold off again, and then went straight up. I knew it was going to test 1745, and it did. This is the level up here at 1745. This was where it's hit this yesterday or day before yesterday, and I was looking for it to hit again. And I mentioned in chat earlier that I was looking to swing this if it failed to push 45 today. So more than likely, depending on how it looks first thing in the morning, I will short this, for a swing trade. But that was my day. And, it was very eventful. I just wish I had been able to record the fiasco, because you could see just how, I was able to manage being in these positions. Number one, manage being in more than one position at one time. But the thought process you have to go through and how you need to analyze it. Now, yeah, if the thing is washing out, going the wrong way, click it. Don't sit there and watch it wash out. But if it's stable, if the price is stable, and you see some resistance or support around it, then take your time and calmly analyze the situation and come up with a plan. Now, I didn't follow my plan on X, but that's fine. I'm not mad at myself about that. I didn't just click it and get out. I allowed it to work to where I got out with minimal damage. And so these are the things that you're going to have to work on when you're new, because it doesn't matter how good you get. I don't care. Sometimes it happens to Ross. It happened to Ross several weeks ago, and he lost, what, $4,000 because he had an accident, entering a trade or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we all have it. The thing is, we have to learn how to react to it, so that when these do happen, and they'll happen more often when you're a newer trader, that you don't end up, putting a big dent in your account, reacting to it, in a bad way. Last thing is, I did add I added the fees and the commission up here and the net P&L. So this is a pretty good idea of how much we're going to add to our bottom line. So, today helped me. Well, really, we had already erased what we lost last week, but this helped us get back to the green side. So, I think hopefully tomorrow will be a better day as far as me not having any issues. I've got the recording thing set up where I can't mess up that, so we should be good with that. So I hope everybody has a great evening and a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow in chat.